Hello, second graders. Today we're going to be talking about even and odd numbers and doing several different kinds of activities with those. The first thing we need to talk about is a pair. So I have the word here. I have the word pair written on my board. And I want to talk about what a pair is, okay? So first, I want you to think, what are some words that you know that you can talk about a pair? What are some things that we call a pair? I want you to think about that, and I want you to think if you can figure out what the word pair means. All right, I'm going to say some examples, and I want you to do a thumbs up if yours was one of the examples that I say, and a thumbs down if it wasn't, okay, if I named something that you didn't name. And that's fine either way, okay, but just thumbs up if you named it, thumbs down if you didn't, okay? All right, so did you name a pair of shoes? A pair of socks? A pair of gloves? A pair of pants? Now, that's a few examples of where we can use the word pair, but what does it mean? If you think about those things, a pair of shoes, there's two shoes in a pair of shoes. A pair of socks, there's two socks in a pair of socks. A pair of gloves, there's two gloves in a pair of gloves. And a pair of pants has two legs in it. A pair of pants. What did all of those things have in common? I'm going to write it down. See if you can say it before I write it down. The number 2. All of those things have two somethings. So that's what a pair is. On page 25, turn there if you're not already there. On page 25, they talk about pairs of jars. And the first thing they want you to do, I'm just going to draw my jars like this, okay, because I'm not a very good artist. And I don't want to take up all your time looking at my pairs of jars, okay? So here, I'm going to draw a few more. Let's see. There's a whole bunch in the first row, but we're going to just pretend that this is the first row. And they have like 1 and 3 and so on in there for you already. You are supposed to put the next number, okay? So you're going to write, so what comes after 1? 1, 2, 3, 4. You are writing all the even numbers, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4. You just have to fill in counting order, okay? So that part's pretty easy. Then they want you to loop pairs of jars. And we just talked about a pair. A pair is 2. So you're going to loop these 2 jars. And then you're going to loop these 2 jars. And you're going to keep going through the whole thing. So 1, 2 is a pair, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on, okay? So those are your pairs of jars. And then on the bottom, they want you to count by 2s. Now, I'm going to give you a trick, because this is kind of tricky if you don't remember. We wrote down all the 2s, okay? So we wrote down 2, because let's say I'm going to underline the ones I wrote down, because they had 3 and 1 in there. So I wrote down 2 and I wrote down 4. So at the bottom where it says to count by 2s from 2 to 50, you're going to write down the numbers you wrote again. So you have 2, 4, you're going to have to write 6, 8, and so on, all the way up to 50. Okay, now I want you to go ahead and finish page 25 on your own.